It's a Wednesday, so that means the new episode of Moon Knight just came out. And going into this episode, I was quite worried, as the Marvel TV shows so far haven't had the best of endings. The only one that I can say that really worked for me was the Loki one. Wanda had some issues, same with even a recent one with Falcon or with Hawkeye. So this, from last week to this week, I was a bit concerned how they would end it, if it would feel a bit too rushed. And overall, I thought this episode worked really well. As the same thing that happened with WandaVision, the next to last episode was more of a getting to know the character episode, and it doesn't really move the plot forward, which was necessary for both shows, and especially for this show, last week's episode was my favourite. And this week done a good job of just ending the series without making it feel rushed. Everything that I wanted resolved happened, as we got to see Arthur Harrow summon Amit. We got to see Amit as well. We got to see Khonshu come back, and I wonder how they would all do that in a time where it didn't feel too rushed, and it didn't in this episode. It worked well. Also, just getting the conclusion between Stephen and Mark and how they would end up together. And I thought they were perfect on every aspect of that. So overall, as a series, I think Moon Knight so far is my favourite Disney Plus show. However, there were some aspects that I wasn't too... Not that I didn't like it, but I wasn't too keen on the fact that it was called Moon Knight and we didn't see as much Moon Knight in it, which I can understand, as we had Stephen and we had Mark, so we had to get to know them a good amount. But especially like last episode, we didn't really see Moon Knight. This episode, we saw him at the end. He was more of an afterthought. We saw him just enough just for it not to be centered about Moon Knight. Overall, I thought this was a good direction for Marvel to take it, as it wasn't too entrenched in the whole MCU, building a whole connective world. It was its own separate story within the MCU. And as we see tomorrow with Doctor Strange coming out, how it's going to be the multiverse coming towards it again. And it wasn't really a part of that, it was just a part of its own separate pocket. And I thought that worked well for it as well. And just going into the conclusion of Mark and Stephen, that I think that worked well, as they're living together, they're able to coexist as one now. As you can see, they were able to change from Stephen to Mark, and from Moon Knight to Mr. Knight. And also, in the post-credit scene, seeing Jake. And there was a lot of theories around going about how he was going to show up in different episodes. And I thought this worked well. As introducing him in last week or this week's episode, I think, and making him an actual proper character would have felt a bit too rushed. But this way they were just able to tease him, and that now we know he's around. They can add him to, if they want to do another season of Moon Knight, or if they're going to take Moon Knight and add something else to it. And I feel this week was the first time the character of Mark and Stephen actually made an acknowledgement that there's something happening, and it wasn't either of those two. So I could kind of see in the post-credit